So non-duality can become really intellectual. But the question comes back to, what was it that you originally got into non-duality for? Ultimately, that can't be answered. Like, no questions can be. But in the beginning, I'm sure the movement was because there was suffering, there was discomfort, or there were questions arising about what to do with life, or how to live a life, or how to get the happiness that people have always told you about, or how to achieve it, to get there, to have the right life. And sometimes that discomfort can just be a little niggling every so often, just a little sense that there's something not quite right. And sometimes it can come on so incredibly extremely. Like maybe something happened, like maybe there was a tragedy, or you lost your lover or your husband, or something happened which unsettled the world, or unsettled the world you thought you knew. Or maybe there was an awakening of some sort, and there was a sense that there was something else to life. But most of the time, the reason people begin to get into non-duality or spirituality, or begin to ask about these questions, is because there was a discomfort. You don't seem to get to the place in which you'd hoped to get to. And every time you think you've just about got there, it's never really satisfying. It's never really quite it. It doesn't really fulfill. So normally in most apparent stories, the reason that they get into this subject is from a sense that something's not quite right. And then it can become so intellectual. You go to different teachers, you go to different speakers, you can read books on it, and it can become very intellectual, an understanding of non-duality. And you can maybe even think that you're enlightened. You think, there's nobody here. This is all appearing for nobody, or some story that you tell yourself. But all discomfort in this world, every ounce of discomfort, comes from a sense of being separate from life, which is a really radical and full-on statement. And what's discomfort? What do I mean by discomfort? Because I don't mean pain. I don't mean if you burn yourself. I mean that sense of feeling tight and contracted and like life is insulting you. Like this, you see something happen and it's a sense of feeling pulled in your body or sickened in your body. And it's a physical sense. It's an energetical sense of feeling limited inside and feeling like you hit against life when it doesn't do what you want. So you have an idea about what you want, and then when life doesn't give you that, it's a sense of sickness, it feels like. It hurts somewhere where they describe the chakras are. Somewhere here. It doesn't hurt so much in the toe, but it's this area where it hurts. It feels almost like physical illness at points when it's really strong. Sometimes it just feels like mild disease or discomfort. And that whole sense is a byproduct of the belief that you are a separate body walking around independently in this world, which is a really full-on statement. All suffering comes, and I don't mean pain, I don't mean the cutting yourself pain, I mean that physical, energetic sense of discomfort dissolves with the collapse of separation. Everything that you think was a problem was never the problem. But it feels so real because the body's in so much pain when you feel like something in the flow of life isn't right. It feels so real that that's the reason. So you see your partner kissing someone else, or you see an animal being tortured, or you see a car crash, and there's that physical contraction and discomfort. You believe that it really is the flow of life. It really feels like that. The thoughts are telling you it's the flow of life, as well as the sensations are telling you there is a problem in the flow of life. And when I mean flow of life, I mean what you think you see in time. I mean by the world, what you think is happening out there. And this is really radical. I'm not talking about an intellectual sense of knowing awareness or an intellectual sense of knowing there's nobody. I'm talking about that tight, energetic separation. And in talking about it, that does create the dilemma. A lot of speakers sometimes avoid pointing out so clearly what separation feels like, because what the person does often when they hear that is they then tell the story that they've got it wrong because they still feel that sense of an energetic, contracted self. I'm trying to point out as clearly as I can what suffering is. And basically, nothing that you think is the problem is the problem. Nothing that even you feel is the problem is the problem. Problems do not exist. There is just movement happening. And you are that movement, and that movement is love. And that movement is equally still as much as it's moving. But the problem that humans have, that no other animals have, is the idea that it's happening to you, which becomes an energetic sense in the body. It becomes like a sickness. So that means that everything you've believed to be the problem, every person that you've blamed for creating your problems, every situation that you blame for creating your problems is a lie. That's a really full-on statement if it's really heard. There aren't problems. This is not often liked by the person, by that energetic, contracted person, because that energetic, contracted person only exists in problems and fixing problems. So it doesn't want to hear this. It wants to keep fixing problems. Because that's its job. That's what it's always been taught to do. And that's what it's been taught happiness and fulfillment is fixing problems in the flow of life. It doesn't want to hear this. It might even hurt hearing this. But everything that hurts isn't something to be run from. It's in a way your friend, because it's saying this is an illusion, this is an illusion. So if you're sitting here and it's hurting, it's because you have false ideas. Not that there's a you there having false ideas, but there's false ideas appearing in this, if we put it in more non-dual language. There's ideas that are hurting, that are physically hurting. And then the mind quickly goes, she should stop speaking, or he should stop doing this. And then you constantly are running from the flow of things, and you can never, ever get away from the flow of things. You can never escape it. It's an endless cycle in a hamster ball. I'm sorry if I'm beginning to speak fast. I have to take the earrings off. I begin to take clothes off when I get excited. Everything. Eventually I'll just be sat here naked. And you'll all be like, oh. There's nothing to run from. Everything is love. But it's like an energy that's formed of things that hurt, I have to fix and move away from. So you've been taught that you've been taught what's right and you've been taught what's wrong, and you've believed it. And it's not you, there's not really a separate you there. It's just a movement of energy that's got stronger and stronger over time. Of this is a problem. My lover shouldn't have done that. My kid shouldn't have done that. My boss shouldn't have done that. And I need to fix them. I need to teach them that they're wrong. I need to stop them doing whatever they're doing because I'm hurting. You hurt because of your ideas about the situation or because of the ideas that are appearing. And the way that you know that it's a false idea is it's kicking you in the freaking guts. And then the mind's like, there's nobody here, it's happening for nobody, if they're into non-duality. Or if they're not, they're like, that motherfucker, I'm going to stop them, put duct tape over their face, or whatever it is. Lock them in the cupboard. I will stop it. The nature of everything, and I've been negative the first period of this talk, talking about what's an illusion, but the nature of everything is absolute love. Love beyond personal love that we know. But it's not something I have more of. It's not something that anybody in this room has more of. It is us. It is this. And I know I'm trying to go in and out of speaking non-duality and then trying to sound more human. But love is everything that appears. And this, your nature is beyond our words of positivity like divine or love or heaven. It's so free and uncaged that you begin to even fail to put it into words. And I think that what happens in these talks, not just my talks but other speakers, is a reminding of that. And it's not really reminding someone. This is when language begins to collapse. It's kind of a reminder of everything, for everything. It's not really I'm reminding that body-mind mechanism, because there's not a body-mind mechanism in there. There's not somebody in that body-mind mechanism. There's just a reminding that's happening in this. And the less focus that there is in problems and myself, the more it becomes obvious that everything's always been free and you are everything. I can't teach you this intellectually. It's very hard to put this into words. But what might be happening now is you are beginning to feel it. But it's not a feeling in the body. It's something that's always been there when the body was 2, 3, 6, 8, 10, when it had good experiences, bad experiences, when you had mundane experiences. It's been there always, and it's not limited to any of those experiences. But in all those experiences, the focus has been normally on the separate person. So it's like love has always been there, no matter what tragedies or beautiful experiences have been happening for that person. And it's in everything. It's not in a limited experience. It's not in a limited idea. It's not in anything you think of, yet it's everywhere. The whole room is vibrating love. It's nothing you see, but it is you. It has no limits, so you can't define it as a thing. And all things are that. And the deeper and deeper, although, excuse my language, it's not really deeper, just trying to speak about it. The deeper and deeper this is heard, it even becomes obvious that there are no things. There is no thing happening. This isn't a two reality, a divided reality.